Alrighty, welcome back to Final Fantathon, our quest to casually Let's Play every original North American release of every main series Final Fantasy game. It's good to have you back. I realized after going through the first 4 episodes that my microphone was a bit too peaky. And I found out that I had accidentally bumped the gain knob on my mic, which is why I sounded like this for the first 4 episodes. So hopefully I sound better now. It's a work in progress, though. You know, if I feel like I'm still peaking too much, then I'll turn it down for next week as well. But hopefully I sound better. And I'm excited to get back into Final Fantasy II. I enjoyed it a lot last week, and I'm excited to do more. We gotta make our way back to the town. The song's kind of weird. We had a really fun week this week. We've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight. Really enjoying Hollow Knight a lot. We've also been working on the Advance Wars speedruns. I know a lot of people here are fans of tactical RPGs, obviously, by how insanely ahead the Final Fantasy Tactics is in the votes. We've been doing a speedrun of another tactical RPG called Advance Wars Dual Strike for the DS, and that's been a lot of fun. We've been working on that throughout the week. And we'll probably be doing a run of it today after this, so if you're interested in that, should be fun. And we finally got the 39 in Celeste. That was great. It was not the best run, but it was a 39, so I was happy with it. But I want to try to beat it next week. And we've just been having a good old time. I gotta remember... I'm so used to Final Fantasy 1 and having to split my attacks. Found out there used to be a Craig at my office who made janky code before he left. Might be our guy. It might be him. It could be the legendary Craig. Why do you remember load times for this being much worse? I don't know. I'm playing on a PS2, but usually load times between PS2 and PS1 aren't different. And usually PS2 load times are the worst in terms of games like that. Like if you played the Steam version later or something, usually the load times would be the same or better, so not sure. Maybe you're thinking of one of the other, because I've heard that some of the later collections have bad load times. We're gonna run out of antidotes. I'm looking forward to when items can be stacked in your inventory. That's gonna be great. Looking forward to that time. Sneaky Jeff, thank you so much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the crew, man. I'm not playing on fast disk speed, so it's not that. Yeah, apparently his name is Minwoo in other versions. In this version, he's Mindu. Revolutionary change. Oh right. I forgot I could swim. butts. Speaking of weird names, I learned of a weird name the other day. Let me see if I can find it. I gotta remember what it was. I was going through my games list, and I came across a game with a really weird naming. Let's see if I can find it. It was... Don't know if I'm gonna find it. It had like a weird capital letter, like halfway through the name. It was really bizarre. I don't see it now though. If I remember it, I'll bring it up later. It wasn't Kingdoms of Amalur, was it? No. Don't remember what it was. I did come across a game that I have for PS4 that actually exists called Barack Fu: The Adventures of Dirty Barry. Don't know if you ever heard of that one. It's a classic game. Here's the... I can't bring that up without showing you the art for it. So there you go. Wait, it didn't work. Oh, it's a weird file type. OBS doesn't like that file type. Well, why did it save it as such a weird file type? Can I just change it to a JPEG? Without it breaking? Yeah, there you go. So that's Barack Fu: The Adventures of Dirty Barry. That's a real game on the PlayStation Store. Because Sony stopped caring like 5 years ago. So, that's that. Yeah. You guys think I'm joking when I make fun of the PlayStation Store every day, but that's the kind of stuff that they let on without any care. I know, we're not even terminating the enemies anymore. It's unfortunate. I think Sony used to care. Almost. They cared more than they do now, at least. Ask Sid what the week... So I was actually thinking, should I go talk to Sid or should I go talk to the Princess Queen? But looks like I should talk to Sid. I was going to talk to her and say the Dreadnought left, but then I also thought maybe Sid knows because he's airship guy. If you don't remember, last time we left off, we were trying to destroy the Dreadnought, but it just flew away without us. So now we gotta figure out where it went. Hoffa, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back, dude. Probably should have rested at the end, but I have like full health. Some guy falling 5 months. We had some cool gaming news this week. Nintendo is completely off their rocker. I guess that really isn't news, is it? Never mind. Like, Nintendo's just completely lost their mind now, to the point where I'm actually worried for them. Yeah. So, for those of you that missed it, I don't know how you missed it, but... because it's everywhere I look. Nintendo released, or announced a collection of Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Odyssey 1 for the Switch. And it is a limited physical and limited digital release. Which is the type of, like, language that you just kind of want to put, like, soap in their mouth afterwards. Like, bad Nintendo. Don't say stuff like that. You got us all worried that it was actually real. But it is real. They really actually made a digital release limited for a game that probably everyone on the planet wants. Do I want to go to I gotta, like, reacquaint myself with the map here. Where's the ferry? The ferry's here. Okay, so I think I gotta go that way. Yeah, the map's a little weird. I don't think they're gonna split the titles up. That would be nice if they did, but I don't think so. I think it's just Nintendo being Nintendo. See, for a very long time, Nintendo's game has been release stuff, make some money on it, and then make its value skyrocket so that they look better. So even though the game might get sold on eBay for like $200 after it runs out of stock, Nintendo isn't making any of that money, but what they are making is like value in their company, because things that their company sold is worth $200 on eBay, right? They've done that many, many, many times. They did it with the Switch, they did it with the Nintendo Classic, they did it with the Super Nintendo Classic, they did it with Amiibos, they did it with pretty much everything you can imagine they've done it with. Did this place, we got, something has gone wrong. Something is wrong in the state of Paloom. The Dreadnought came and it opened fire, killing everyone. Oh my god, are you a zombie then? At least the inn is still fine. She's still happy. Our town is ruined. Do you want to stay here? Yeah, sometimes they eventually do re-releases, but when they first release it, they always make sure that there's not much at all, so that oh, that's right, this isn't Paloom, this is the other one. Paloom is the one that's connected. Sid! You only need to blow up the engine of the Dreadnought to blow it to smithereens. Okay. The airship runs on sunfire, as does the Dreadnought. The sunfire can't be controlled easily. You get too much flame and it might just blow up in your face. Okay. So now, who would know about the Sunfire? I guess we'll go talk to the Queen. Sleep on our beds. They're on fire. Really warm. Yeah, Nintendo's whole gimmick is just to make their company seem prestigious. You know, that's what they're all about. And it's worked for a long time. But I think most everyone kind of calls it quits when they start doing limited digital releases. Because that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, that's, you know, it's a reasonable business solution. A reasonable business move to, like, only release a certain amount of something so that it goes up in price. But it's just actual nonsense to release a limited digital release. That's just like basically calling your fans idiots and being like, you'll buy it, don't worry, you'll buy it. And I think what really, like, for me is frustrating, because I think that in some universe a limited digital release could work, maybe. Like, I still think it's dumb, but okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that a limited digital release is fine, okay? If people want to buy it, they'll buy it, and if they don't, then they'll buy it off eBay later and they'll have to get the physical version. Whatever. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that a limited digital release is fine, okay? Let's not during a pandemic. You know? Like, what is the worst time ever to force your fans to buy something now? You know, oh, you're trying to save money because pandemic? No. Buy the game now. Limited digital release. You have to buy it now. Oh, everyone's poor and everyone's going through a recession and everything's terrible. 3D All-Stars, buy it now. You know what I mean? Like, that's the extra salt in the wound. If they were going to do this months later, maybe it would have gone over better. But the fact that, like, everyone else is saying, you know, Sony and Xbox are like, we'll wait a little bit before we release our new consoles, and a lot of game companies are like, we're going to push our games back, and governments are giving out help packages, and everyone's doing their part to make sure that everyone gets through this, and then Nintendo's like, you want Mario 64? Buy it now! You know, it's just terrible. And for it to be Mario 64, too, the game that you know people are going to buy because it's Mario 64, like, they're basically dangling our childhoods in front of us and being like, buy it now! Yeah. I don't know, just not the best timing. Not the best timing for them. Many people are hurt in the Dreadnought's attack. Father is heartbroken and his condition is worsened. He thinks himself near death. Exclamation marks. Mindu, is there anything we can do? All living creatures must die. It cannot be helped. Wow, Mindu, can you calm it down? Okay? We're looking for hope. Not brutal... not brutal truths. But my duty is to save those who are suffering. This is good music for this. Go on, continue your journey. I will remain here and take care of the injured ones. Furion, the Dreadnought must be destroyed. We cannot endure this much longer. Ah, we lost Mindu. That's unfortunate. Thanks to Mindu, Father seems to be in much better condition these days. He left like 2 seconds ago. Holy cow, that was quick. Sunfire is Cassion's symbol. Its light illuminates the castle's ground floor even today. I have heard stories about the flame from Scott and Gordon. For instance, no ordinary torch can carry it. Perhaps the Sunfire can destroy the Empire's dreadnought. Hey, Furion, back up a little bit. That's the Queen? You're a little close. Perhaps it can! Please go to Cassion at once. Sid should provide you with transportation. But, I wonder how the magical flame can be brought back. I really like this song a lot. This is not something a physician can cure. Every 3 years, a ritual of fire is held. The Sunfire is transferred to Eagle's Torch, so its altar can be purified. Why didn't you tell us this before, Mindu? What do you mean I can't memorize it? It was a word. Scott sealed the gates of Castle Cassion to protect the Sunfire in case his army was defeated. You will need the goddess's bell to lift the doors again. Oh my god, we got bells, we got torches, we got fires. Only the Cassion clan know the bell's whereabouts. Okay. Gordon should know where the bell is, but we do not know where he has disappeared to. Someone who has been close to Scott and Gordon may know where it is. Princess Hilda, perhaps. Back to the princess. I'm starting to see where people, because some people in the comments and like on Twitch last week were saying this game's a lot of running back and forth and remembering words. I'm starting to feel it already. It's very like, talk to this person, memorize this, talk to this person with this, get that. Like I said before, it's like a point and click game almost, like an old PC point and click game. Yes, Scott and Gordon have mentioned that before. Cassion's doors only respond to the voice of a family member or to the sound of a magical bell. The bell is supposedly hidden deep within a cave in the Snowlands. You do not intend to go there, I hope. Well, what am I supposed to do, princess? Just give up? Oh, if Gordon were only here, you wouldn't have to risk your lives like this. I wonder where he is gone. Well, regret is pointless now. I can only pray for your safe return. Joseph knows the snowfields as he does his own garden. He may have some good advice to offer. Joseph! Psycho, thank you for the host. Marsh, thank you for the tier 2 17 months. That's an incredible amount of support. Thank you so much. And Gamer, thank you for the tier 2 4 months. Thank you so much. Oh my god, Omni Chair! No way! We got an Omni Chair, boys. Let me see some hype in the chat. Give me some chairs in the chat. We got them. It's been a minute. How you doing, old friend? I know exactly who's going to be sitting in the chair today. It only makes sense that in the chair today we would place Hercules on VHS. Makes sense. Obviously. Without a doubt. Hercules. Did we? I don't think so. Maybe we did, and I just don't have memories anymore. I didn't think last week. Maybe the week before? Maybe for the Final Fantasy 1 finale? How's it going, Cassius? Just a rave. Flaunting his points. Who's that Pokemon? That's Beedrill. We'll do the Pokemon after Final Fantasy 2. Man, the Dreadnought just blew up like every town. Every town from here to the... where it was got destroyed. What's up, IDub? How many antidotes do I have left? Should I buy some? What if I got in the ship and it like did a poison tick for every every cell that we moved on the ship? Oh, never mind. That poison didn't persist. I still don't understand. It just seems like certain attacks give you a poison that persists and other ones don't. Like there's two different types of poison. Let's see. Oh, I still have 5 antidotes. I don't know where I got all of them. I guess chests. I think Salamand is where I want to go, right? I don't know. I think that's right, but in case it's not, I'll just walk, because it's pretty close. Dude, I was having a weird issue with my phone this morning where, like, I would click on YouTube videos and they would be muted, but my phone was at full volume. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'd open up the YouTube video and it would just show click captions and it'd be muted. But my phone was on loud. And I couldn't get it to not do that. I'd like close YouTube and reopen it and it still wouldn't work. But then I'd click like a couple videos and then eventually it would start working. It was weird. I think it's that, but they don't call it two separate things. They just call it all poison. I don't think you can on mobile. It just takes your phone's volume instead, you know. How's it going, Emblem? It's going well, dude. Hope you're doing well. I don't know, I can't find any kind of like volume control. Because it's just my phone's volume. Maybe I should just reinstall the app or something. Yep, it was Salamand. Joseph! Thank you so much for saving my daughter. You will not make it to the ice cavern without my snowcraft. I hid the snowcraft inside the mines. On the first level, a blue rock marks the entry to a secret room to the right. It's in there. Well, let's go. Just forcefully join my party. That's fine. See how it is. Whoa! Joseph's got an interesting picture. He's pretty strong. He also has no weapon. I guess he just punches people. Alright. Joseph the Brawler. Here we go. This weapon, these hands. Where were the mines? Were the mines... Was you talking about Bafsk? Those were the mines, right? In Bafsk? Couldn't remember if those are mines or just a cave. No, it wasn't Bafsk. It was somewhere else. Holy cow! Dude, he's got an epic poncho. It wasn't Summit Falls, was it? I think it was. I think it was Summit Falls. Yeah, I remember it being to the west. Yeah. That's it. Oh my god. He has like 19 fists when he punches. It reminds me of the guy in Legend Dragoon. If you go to the Fantathon page, Minuit, you can see all the ports of all the games we're playing. We're playing all the original NA releases. So this is Final Fantasy Origins. Because that's the first version of Final Fantasy II we ever got. It's as early as we can go back without going Japanese. How's it going, General? Yeah, we're not doing any emulation, so the earliest physical release we can get. Yeah, which unfortunately means we have to play the DS version of Final Fantasy III, because that's the first version we got here. But after that, it gets a lot better. So, like, Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy III got the biggest shaft in terms of North American releases. But then after that, the rest of them are close to when they were released in Japan. Close-ish. Yeah, 5's the only one that is also pretty far back, but not as far back as 2. And then 4 and 6 are almost... we're only a few months after the Japanese releases, I think. This is The Rock, is it not? Joseph. When Joseph pressed in a small rock, a hidden passageway appeared. The snowcraft is hidden in the back of this room. Hey, wouldn't it have been easier to just put it, like, in your house? Or something? Don't tell me the snowcraft is inside this chest. It's inside the chest. Just retro RPG things. What's this rock doing here? But yeah, 4 and 6 are pretty close to the Japanese releases. They're just weird because they're called 2 and 3. And then after that, they're all in line with the Japanese releases. 7 and beyond are all in line. But 2 and 3 are going to be the weird ones, where they feel a lot more modern than they should, because we didn't get them here till way later. Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know about Final Fantasy 3-6, but I've heard that 2-4. 2 is a lot easier because they were afraid that American audiences were bad. So maybe one day we'll have to go and play the original 4 and see how much harder it is. But for this marathon, we'll stick to our guns, but we can always go back later and play other versions and see how they differ. They were bad. I don't know. Were we that bad? What always bothered me is, like, there were many instances of Japanese games being released in North America and being made quite a bit easier. Probably the most popular one is Super Mario 2. The original Super Mario 2 was mega hard, so they released the weird version of Mario 2 here instead. And then they did the same thing with Final Fantasy, where they made Final Fantasy 4 easier and called it 2. But then, when they finally decided, okay, we're going to keep everything even from now on, and they released Final Fantasy VII as Final Fantasy VII in both Japan and America, and released them around the same time, and, you know, didn't simplify it for American audiences. They also added 2 super bosses, and generally, like, fixed things, but didn't make things easier for American audiences. I think encounter rates were slightly lower, which actually makes the game harder because you have less experience for bosses and stuff. So the Final Fantasy VII we got here was actually harder than the one in Japan. So it's like, what happened? They accidentally reversed what they meant to do, and that always bothered me. Like, how did they screw that up? Oh, do I have to go? I don't know where I'm supposed to enter. Oh, up here, I think. I don't think the mayor's puzzle was simplified. Because the mayor's puzzle in Japan and... no, I think it's harder, isn't it? The American version has 4 possible answers. I believe the Japanese version only has 2. And the European version only has 1. For some reason. I thought that the reason that was like the language, though, not because they wanted to make it easier. But yeah, the temple puzzle was easier, I believe. And then they lowered the encounter rate, but that actually makes the game harder, not easier. So that's a pretty weird choice. Localization has always been weird with every game ever. Localization teams, not saying they're bad, they definitely have a difficult job, but it turns into some wacky results sometimes. I don't remember how the temple puzzle is easier. That's one thing I do not remember. Yeah, they also gave us Mystic Quest, which I don't think is an easy game, so I'm not really sure what they were thinking. Mystic Quest was an attempt to make a more simplified Final Fantasy experience for American audiences, but instead it ends up just being like kind of difficult because you kind of just have to smash your face into a bunch of random battles until you're strong enough to beat bosses. There's no, like, exploration in the game, so you just kind of sit there and grind. It's odd. Like, I don't see how they thought grinding mechanics versus exploration mechanics would be easier. Yeah, as far as I understand, no, I'm pretty sure Japanese has a different selection. I'll have to look into that. But as far as I understood, also, this is the weirdest snowcraft I've ever seen, just saying. As far as I understand, the English version has 4 possible answers. Mako Bomb, Hojo, and Best. No, King Best. King Best, Bomb, Mako. And then the Japanese version, I'm pretty sure, only had 2. I think it was like Bomb Mako or something, but in Japanese. I thought. And then I know for sure that the European version only has 1 correct answer. I think it's Mako. The European version just straight up doesn't randomize. It just has 1 answer. And I feel like that was more of a localization choice rather than like trying to make it easier, but I don't know, how did I forget Best? That's the best answer. Did I pass it? No. Which version is fastest for speedruns? Well, funnily enough, it's the English version. Although I believe it's just because of the lower encounter rates. Because normally it'd be the Japanese version, because text would be faster. But, the lower encounter rates, I believe, make the English version by far the fastest. I don't think anyone runs the Japanese version. Not that I've seen. How's it going, Sean? Step count does not lower the amount of encounters, like, total. I mean, it does, but, like, a step count with a game with more encounters would still give you more encounters. You can't, like, remove them. The step count would just be worse in the Japanese version. Floating skull. Look at that. Sprite. That sprite is amazing. Zulaw, think of the host. I know, look at Maria's HP. Look at her dead. I should probably put her back the lower side of the... Or put her like in the back row. But I don't know, I'm okay with her taking damage. She needs more health. Can I revive her? Probably not. Nope, we're gonna have to bail. We just got here. Does step count affect gameplay? It does in Final Fantasy VII. The way that Final Fantasy VII decides whether or not you're going to get in a random battle or not is not actually random. It's based on your step count and a couple other factors. So when you speedrun the game, there's a very specific step route that you take, and you count your steps throughout the entire run to either move encounters into areas that are safer, or avoid certain encounters like pincer attacks, and also at times they also manipulate specific encounters to get enemy skills like Big Guard. And throughout the entire run, you basically count every single step you do so you get the right encounters. And just recently, a brand new skip was found in Final Fantasy VII that saves 8 minutes. And it basically takes advantage of the step count and the in-game timer in order to manipulate no encounters before Cosmo Canyon to allow for Cosmo Canyon skip. So, the original PS1 version of Final Fantasy VII now skips Cosmo Canyon, which is pretty bizarre because the game doesn't really have any skips. Obviously on PC it does. If you've ever seen my New Game Plus speedrun, we skip the entire game. But the PS1 version never really had any skips. You did Suna skip, and you skipped part of Midgar. And there was some other like small cutscenes that you could skip with text box manipulation. But there was never like big like you didn't really skip any big plot points of the game. You did every part of the game. You did every city. You did every dungeon. There was no real like skips. But now with Cosmo Canyon skip, you skip the entirety of Cosmo Canyon and go straight to Nibelheim. Oh, except Midgar Raid, you're right. Midgar Raid's pretty big. I mean, granted, you still fight Hojo. You kind of just skip, like, the Turks, which are an optional battle anyways. Proud Claude. But, yeah, I mean, that's still a pretty substantial skip, I would say. I would definitely call it a skip. You skip quite a bit. Do they not have a... I need a revive house. Is this it? Yeah. So yeah, Midgar Raid's been a thing for a while. You're right. And then Suna skip has been a thing for the last few years. But other than that, it's been pretty just play the game until Cosmo Skip was found. Yuffie warping is only on PC. We're talking about the PS1 version. PC has always been broken. And then the last year, between me, RJ, Diesel, Pet Friend, Reptile, we pushed New Game Plus from being a little bit more broken to straight up skip the entire game. So it's been quite the adventure over the last, like, 2 years. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I kind of wanted to make, like, this is what's happened to the Final Fantasy VII speedrun video. But every week something new is found for the past, like, 6 or 7 months. So I was like, don't even bother making the video, because as soon as I make it, something else is going to be found. But it's actually been pretty quiet now. I think everyone's done finding stuff, so maybe I will make some kind of video that's just kind of like, this is what happened, because it's a pretty crazy story. The game went from, the PC any % run was like 3 hours long, or like 2.5 hours long, and then New Game Plus was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, regular game is under 2 hours, and New Game Plus is like 1 hour 20 minutes. You do half of Midgar and then skip to the end of the game. It's pretty bizarre. The biggest boss we see is Motorball. It started with smuggling being found, which is what I found. And that changed everything, because the entire beginning of the game became smash everything. You didn't have to pick up any items, you didn't have to worry about money. You just smuggled, and then you were good to go for the whole game. And then the big thing that was found was a different way to do wrong warping, because before we thought we had to do Materia Keeper in order to wrong warp. And because you had to do Materia Keeper, like, Materia Keeper didn't actually take that long. The problem was the setup for Materia Keeper. You had to do so much stuff at the beginning of the game in order to be strong enough to beat Materia Keeper later. So even if you could, you know, do all this stuff, like, you still had to worry about Materia Keeper. But then it was found that you didn't have to fight Materia Keeper, and there was another way to do it that was a lot quicker and easier. So then that changed the route quite a bit. That's when it started to really get different than just regular New Game. But then it was found that you could just load up a save that had the wrong warp ready, and it would persist through save files. And that was when it just completely destroyed the run. That was probably the biggest find of them all, because you didn't even have to set up the wrong warp anymore. You could just load a save with the wrong warp ready as soon as you left Midgar. You could leave Midgar and just immediately go to the end of the game without doing anything else. And then sometime later it was found that you could even skip the final bosses. Because before, you would leave Midgar and then immediately fight Genova and Sephiroth. But now you don't have to do that. Now you leave Midgar and the game's over. So it was step by step by step that kept being found. And then probably the last thing that was found was something that I kind of found, but it was more of my chat and me working together to find it. Was the fact that throw is completely broken and completely destroys the run. So before we had to worry about, you know, you could smuggle in super strong materia like Ultima or Flare or whatever, but you still needed the MP to use it. So then it became like, okay, what ethers do we pick up? What ethers do we pick up? People hate it when I say ether. What ethers do we pick up? Where do we use our MP where? What magic should we use on what boss? Like, can Fire 3 defeat in one turn, or do we need to use Flare or whatever? But then somebody in my chat randomly said, what about Throw? And we were all like, psh, Throw? Who would use? That's silly. We tried that a long time ago. That's garbage. And then we tried it and we were like, oh. It's horribly broken. And then that throughout that just completely blew open everything, because you don't need MP to use coin. You don't... It hits everything, so you don't need all or mega all. And it doesn't take MP, so you don't need MP or ethers or MP to HP or MP plus or anything. All you need is gil, which you can get infinite gil with smuggling, so... That blew open the doors to the early game. So yeah, it was like that's why I think a video would be fun, because there were a lot of actual like steps that happened. Sometimes with speedruns, it's kind of like everything's found all at once, or someone just kind of goes through and routes everything in secret, and then everyone just kind of copies them. So there's not a lot of like stories to tell, but with the Final Fantasy VII run, there's a lot of stories to tell, because everything was like this big event that happened. Someone would find something, and then everyone would jump on and do it, and then another thing would happen, and then it would just keep going and going. So... yeah, there's some cool stories to tell. I don't know if I'd want to make like a documentary, you know, like Summoning Salt documentary, but just some kind of video where I just talk about what was found and what happened. Because I don't think there's enough history to like make a 30-minute video, but there's certainly some cool finds that were found, and the speedrun lost about an hour in like 3 months, so that's pretty cool. Actually, sneak attack is used now instead of counter. It's slightly faster if you get lucky. There was a time where I was doing counter and everyone else was doing sneak attack. Reptile and RJ were doing sneak attack and I was doing counter. And we were trying to figure out what was faster. Counter is more reliable, but sneak attack is faster. Yeah, you had it backwards, which I don't blame you because you were watching a lot of my runs, so that's probably why you thought that. Why not both? Because you don't have enough materia slots. You gotta pick one or the other. It was pretty bizarre, because like, it was bizarre how well smuggling worked, because you had just the right amount of materia slots for the strats to work. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, you know, haven't seen the speedrun yet, I recommend you watch it if you haven't seen it and you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII. Like, even if you just skim through it if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but it's pretty crazy, especially the ending. And both New Game and New Game Plus are both interesting to watch, but basically, what we didn't know, because back in the day, when we were routing wrong warping, we tried coin, we tried throwing coin to see if maybe those would be, well, we didn't even try it with New Game Plus, we tried it with, like, the PS1 run, because you don't get far enough to get throwing coin, like, you don't get Yuffie anyways. So throwing coin already felt useless, but we tried it to see like if there was any kind of special thing you could do with it, and there just wasn't. You never had enough money to like do any damage with coin, and you never had good enough items to do damage with throw. So it's just a useless materia that no one ever used for any speedrun. And then when smuggling was found, we tried using throwing coin, but quickly realized it was useless, you know, just as it always was. Why does that look like a door? Maybe that's where we leave or something. Oh, that thing is scary. It looks like a Pokemon. So we tried throw, and we were like, yep, still useless. So then we threw it away and never thought about it again. And then someone in the chat had said try throw, and we're all just kind of like, throw's useless. Why would you ever use throw or coin? But what we didn't know at the time was if you happen to have enough money for coin, which you can if you smuggle in a super expensive material like all and just sell it. So if you do have enough money and you put counter or sneak attack combined with throw, it will always throw the exact amount of money needed to kill everything. Without an all materia, without a mega all materia, and without, like as long as you have the right amount of money, it will throw the exact right amount. So if you need 3,000 gil to kill everything, it'll throw exactly 3,000 and it'll kill everything. So it's just like a little, there's just a little line of code that basically says whatever the enemy's HP is, throw that much money. But it's only with countering and sneak attacking, which normally you wouldn't have, but because of smuggling you can have. It does split the damage, but it'll do the math for you. So like, so let's say you have an enemy that takes 1,000 gil to kill, and another enemy that takes 1,000 gil to kill. That would mean you need to throw 2,000 gil because it splits the damage. Coin will automatically do that for you if you counter. So if one of them attacks you, you'll counter with exactly 2,000 gil. So not only does that take no MP, but it also takes no all materia. And you can do the math for the entire run and figure out exactly how much gil you need and give yourself that much gil so that you can get through the whole game without needing to do anything else. As soon as you get hit, Cloud will just counter and kill whatever you got hit by. And then later, we realized that sneak attack basically just kills everything as soon as the battle starts, 80% of the time. So then it's just a gamble to hope that sneak attack goes off every fight. But still, yeah, the fact that it just auto-kills everything... Oh, no. Do you guys realize what this is? This is the ghoul fight from Final Fantasy 1, and they still paralyze. They took the most annoying fight from Final Fantasy 1 and put it back in the game. At least paralysis isn't as bad, though. Hey, Maria's HP went up. So yeah, that's why counter is more reliable, because if you get hit, you will always counter and kill, whereas sneak attack only has an 80% chance of going off. But sneak attack is faster because you don't have to wait to get hit. It just goes off immediately. I will only be using the names for characters whose names don't matter, so like chocobos and summons and stuff. I don't know, I haven't decided if I want to do summons or not. I probably will. Maybe like the obvious ones, like Shiva and Ifrit and stuff, because like everyone knows those names. Maybe not for the more interesting ones, but we'll see. Definitely for like chocobos and stuff. Battle Axe. I guess you can have two battle axes. Yeah, I don't really know anything about Final Fantasy 3, so we'll get there when we get there. If their names aren't important, then yeah, we'll use other names. I figured they would be important because they are in this one, so I figured every game after this would have important names. Nope. You don't have to input anything. The match starts, and Cloud throws the exact amount of money necessary to kill everything as soon as it starts. As long as you have enough. And that's what we didn't know, because I always figured counter, like sneak attack coin would just throw like 1 gil, or throw all your gil, or something, you know. But there's a line of code that basically throws the exact right amount of money. Which is still pretty crazy to me, but that's the way it works. And even if we did know that back then, because some people did know that, some people did test it, you know, we never had enough money anyways, so it didn't matter. But then once I found smuggling, we finally figured out, like, oh, we could just sell in all materia. Yeah, it just throws as much as it can. It's not split randomly. It always splits down the middle. So if you throw like 1,000 gil, it does, what would it be, 50 damage to each? Mithril Mace. A monster suddenly appeared. Uh-oh. Oh, this isn't actually that scary. Last time this happened, it was that turtle that wrecked us. Okay, never mind. This is a bit scary. They have a lot of health. And they take, like, no damage. Good thing Joseph just annihilates everything, though. Ouch. Probably not a good idea to use fire on the grenades. Yeah, Maria's got the 3-digit health now. Our strat of keeping her in the front is working. Almost out of MP. I am out of MP. And there were all sorts of like minor things that were found as well, like Avalanche Skip was found. A bunch of really goofy strats were tried. There was a route that skipped materia altogether. That was actually world record for a bit before smuggling was found. All sorts of crazy things.